Hi, movie freaks. It's American movie freak Tracy. Just got back from the movie theater to watch the film Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. It's rated R for violence, strong language throughout, and brief drug content. The runtime for the film is 2 hours and 3 minutes. The Covenant opened in theaters this Friday, April 21st. The film stars Jake Gyllenhaal as Sergeant John Kinley.
Everything all right, John?
No, everything's not all right. There is a hook in me. Ahmed and his family are in trouble.
And Dar Salim as Ahmed.
Why he wants this job?
I need the money.
Don't disappoint. Turn out to be a pain in the ass.
No, not me.
Sergeant Kinley is part of an army unit that's charged with finding weapons caches from the Taliban in Afghanistan. After their former interpreter and one of the members of their team are killed in an operation, Kinley selects Ahmed to take place of the interpreter, that in exchange for his assistance as an interpreter, the government promises to get Ahmed and his family visas and to relocate them to the United States. On one such mission, they do find a Taliban weapons cache, but are quickly overrun by Taliban forces. As a result, Kinley and Ahmed end up on the run in the wilderness of Afghanistan, dodging Taliban forces while they try to work their way back to the army base. After a harrowing experience and many encounters with the Taliban, along the way, Kinley and Ahmed evade Taliban forces, but ultimately Kinley is nearly captured but rendered unconscious for a while and almost in a comatose-like state for much of the journey.
You still don't remember a thing.
I don't remember any of it. I only remember the interpreter.
Ahmed does everything in his power to press forward, including doing all the work himself, pushing McKinley in a cart up a giant hill, hiding him, all kinds of things to avoid capture by the Taliban.
Well, I won't back down.
After this ordeal, Kinley is sent home to recover, and after recovering, still has no memory of what actually took place. But as he's fighting to try to get the army to fulfill their promise, their covenant, to provide Ahmed with a visa for him and his family, Ahmed's popularity back in Afghanistan grows, but that only draws attention to him, and he and his family have to go on the run to evade capture once again from the Taliban. When Kinley finds out about this, he realizes that there's only one thing he can do. And when he reaches out to the army basically tells him, no, we can't help with this. And he says, well, there's only one thing I can do. I have to go take care of it myself, because a promise is a promise. A covenant is a covenant.
I am gonna have to get him out myself.
And it must be fulfilled. So Kinley prepares to do everything in his power to find Ahmed and his family and bring them to safety. Gyllenhaal's performance here was very convincing. He fit the role of a sergeant to a T, did a great job of preparing himself for the role. I found this to be one of his better acting performances. As a matter of fact, I didn't really like Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor in his early career, but I think as he ages and as he has more experience, it seems like he's honing his skills and really becoming more of a believable character for the audience. While sometimes he can be monotone, it fits for this character, and he's not quite as bad as Keanu Reeves, who's made a career of being a monotone type actor. Dar Salim was equally fantastic in his acting part in this film. I felt like he also portrayed himself well as an Afghan interpreter. He supported the story with his acting ability and did a fantastic job of selling the struggle that he had pulling Sergeant Kinley across the Afghan wilderness. Of course, in a film of this type that has lots of bullets flying and explosions and bombs going off, there's fully loaded Humvees with 50 cal guns.
Stop the vehicle, Sergeant.
We don't want to go down this road.
You're out of your bounds.
And the special effects I thought were top-notch, and the Taliban forces were convincing in this film as well. It's not exactly a war film. I would say that this film is more a film about survival, pressing forward. It's about honor. It's about fulfilling your word. And it's really about family. It was a highly engaging film. The action started around 15 minutes and pretty much went throughout the film. I thought the story flowed well. I thought all the supporting actors also did a good job in their roles. And as a whole, the movie just came together, and I found it very action-packed and quite the thrill ride. And while the film is not exactly based on a true story, it is, however, based on circumstances from individual experiences that happened in Afghanistan. They just wove them together into a single story. So I thought that was interesting. I was real excited to see this film. I wanted to see it on Saturday night, but I wasn't able to get there, and so tonight was the earliest I was able to do it. I was not disappointed. I love these types of films, high action. There was a little bit of a jab here to the administration part of the military. It really spoke to how ridiculous and how much red tape there can be to get something done, especially something that was promised to an individual that you have. It's almost like pulling teeth just to get it to happen. So kind of a wake-up call for the military to stop worrying about all these forms you need to fill out and just get back to taking care of the people, especially those who put their lives on the line for us, for our fellow servicemen and women, and for our country. In the end, and I wish I would have snapped a shot of this, so I'll be talking a little bit from just my memory, which isn't always the greatest. It gives a few statistics or facts about Afghanistan at the end of the film. It mentioned the date when our military men were pulled out of Afghanistan. It was in August of last year, 2022, and it said the Taliban regained control of everything within a month of us leaving there. That is an unbelievable statistic, but even worse, it said that over 300 interpreters like Ahmed, who was portrayed in this film, and their families were murdered by the Taliban after our troops were pulled from there. And that is just something that's unacceptable, that we should have never done it. It was done completely wrong. We need to learn from this and never let it happen again. I rate this film an 8 out of 10. Mostly I gave it a little bit less than a 9 because of the large amount of profanity. I've mentioned before, not a huge fan of it. Just my preference. I think it might have achieved a 9 rating if it had a little bit less of that, but that's the way of things now, unfortunately. But I did enjoy it a lot, especially the sitting on the edge of my seat wondering what was going to happen next. In that aspect, it was thoroughly enjoyable for me. So if that's the type of movie that you're looking forward to, then this is the film for you, and I highly recommend it. As always, thanks so much for watching this movie review. If you have friends or family that also enjoy movies like we do, please invite them to check us out. I would love to hear from you, so please feel free to send an email to me at AmericanMovieFreaks@protonmail.com. I look forward to reading your comments and messages, and I will respond to those, maybe even in a separate message, maybe not on a movie review, but a separate message where I read emails and answer them. I look forward to hearing from those of you who are watching these reviews, and I thank you for doing that. And I look forward to running into you someday at the show.